Hello! I have a replay to share with you today. This comes from a Power Cube draft that I participate in weekly. For those of you who are not familiar, that just means that instead of constructed where you build a deck before you show up, we have a curated list of cards. We shuffle them all together into packs, and then you take one card at a time, passing the packs around the table. And you have a card pool. From there, you then build a deck. It is a power cube, so there's some banned cards in here, a lot of them actually, because it has a reverse ban list. If a card is not good enough, it gets cut. There's also some cards that are archetype picks, so for example, none of the cards in my hand come by themselves. Diabellstar Vengeance is the draft pick. If you get Diabellstar Vengeance, you get Diabell's the White Witch, this Philia Diabell, and Curse of Diabell. The Azamina pick is all on one card. The Chimera Fusion pick is all on one card. There's a handful of cards that will give you a polymerization. This is actually specifically the one that I had because I got the Elemental Hero Neos pick. Not too important for understanding how this is going to go down. Basically, this was Game 3 against a Tearlament last turn / Exchange of the Spirit FTK deck. So I was definitely playing to win. I got lucky winning the dice roll, and I mulliganed. We get one of those in this format, where you have to toss your whole hand, draw a new one, and then you have to stick with it. And this is what I drew into. This deck was very hyper consistent in all of my games, and this was one of the roughest hands that I had. So considering that it still won me the match, I wanted to share it with you. So let's go ahead and start. And I also didn't plan on recording voiceover initially, so that's why I threw that there in the chat. So we start with the Philia. Normally you add the Diabell, the White Witch, because she's the 1.5 card combo to set up both her and the Vengeance, to make all of your stuff indestructible and then be able to cheat out a Synchro Tuner monster. However, I needed a Sinful Spoils card in hand, which she is always treated as, because I started with the Hollowed Azamina. So I activate that, revealing the Murcielago, and sending the Diabellstar Vengeance to summon the Murcielago. On summon, I activate to add a Sinful Spoils card. Here we're going to get the Deception, and we're going to activate it. Then we normal summon the Black Metal Dragon, because I want the effect when it gets sent from field to grave. So we activate the Deception, tributing the Black Metal Dragon for cost to add LZ, Azamina of the White Forest. And then this on a new Chainlink procs the Black Metal Dragon. This is important, because I need a card to pitch later. So we're going to add the Full Metal Dragon. Next, we are going to activate the LZ, Azamina of the White Forest, to special summon herself. And we are going to, unfortunately, have to do this now. I don't get to set up the board with both Diabellstar or Diabell level 8s, but I need a Fiend monster, or something that's not an illusion, I should say, that is a Beast or Fiend. So we go ahead and banish the Philia from grave and the Branded Beast that is doing nothing for me from hand to special summon her. And then we are going to activate the L-Set, Azamina of the White Forest effect, to fuse both her and the Diabellstar. With two different of the tri-types here, Beast, Fiend, or Illusion, to summon Baphomet, the Mythical King of Phantom Beasts. On summon, he gets to Foolish Burial any of those tri-types, so I dump the Mirror Sword Knight. From here, I use the Polymerization, fusing the Murcielago and the Baphomet into Moa Regina, because guess what? Illusion monster plus a level 6 or higher Fiend monster, and that is what Baphomet is. Exactly level 6 Fiend. So, we then activate her Ignition effect, targeting the Mirror Sword Knight that I dumped, so now I get into full Chimera Fusion combo. I forgot to send the poly. After it resolved, I remember here, after I activate the Mirror Sword Knight, tributing itself for cost. And then because I already have the Chimera Fusion, normally you summon the main deck Baphomet, but I only need one add, so we summon the Gazelle. Gazelle effect on summon is going to add the Baphomet. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and activate the Chimera Fusion, sending both of the aforementioned dudes to summon the Chimera King of Phantom Beasts. Important, I even put it in the chat, not declaring his effect because I'm going against Tearlament. I don't want my opponent randomly discarding a card from hand during the end phase. I am, however, on this chain link going to activate the Gazelle and chain block it with the Berthomet targeting the Mirror Sword Knight again. So we summon the Mirror Sword Knight, and then from deck to hand, we add the Nightmare Apprentice. Super, super cool generic card for anything having to do with illusions whatsoever. And this is where I needed the card to pitch, but first, before I forget, I'm going to add back the Chimera Fusion by its own effect, and then the Hollowed Azamina by targeting the LZ Engrave, shuffling it back. This is important. I do not want to shuffle back Marussia Lago, because I did still properly summon her. Hollowed Azamina is treated as a fusion summon, so I can cheat her back on a following turn with Moa Regina, or with the Chimera King of Phantom Beasts, because during my opponent's turn I can banish this card from my grave and target a Beast Fiend or Illusion monster in grave and special summon it. And then when he banishes himself to do that, that makes the Berthomet, the mythical King of Phantom Beasts, live because he summons back from banish. He can also grab the Mirror Sword Knight, which is a grave trap, monster negate. He can also be summoned back if I so choose to. So this is all just planning for the future on my opponent's turn. I digress. I go ahead and summon. The built-in summon is not an activated effect. I accidentally pitched the wrong card. I realize immediately, add it back. And then here's the card we needed to pitch. The reason I didn't activate the effect to set the Max Metalmorph is because I realistically understood I was not going to be summoning it this turn. And it can be summoned from grave with the Max Metalmorph. And its effect is to set the trap from deck, and I did not want to be pitching either of these. I want to still be, I'm going to be setting the Chimera Fusion and then activating the Hollowed Azamina, but not until after I activate the on-summon effect of Nightmare Apprentice to add the Diabelle's the White Witch. This is also just for follow-up. Not going to be able to summon it this turn for any reasonable effect. She does nothing on her own. If I have another Diabelle monster, she makes all of my monsters indestructible by card effects, but I don't want to throw her out arbitrarily to do nothing, since the Diabelle Star Vengeance built-in, or not built-in, but summon effect is hard once per turn. So this is just for follow-up. So from here we are going to use Nightmare Apprentice and Mirror Sword Knight, and you might be thinking, what am I doing? I don't have my extra Monster Zone open. How could I be link summoning? Because neither of these are tuners, and neither of them have the same level. But you would be wrong, unless you are goated, because you know the GOAT himself, Chaos Angel, summoned using both a light and a dark monster, by the way. So, even though he's the only synchro I have on board, which makes himself extra sticky, unaffected by my opponent's monster's activated effects, all of my monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. So this is going to help ensure that I get to see a turn 3, which is where I'm going to win. So no effect, because obviously I don't want to banish my own stuff. I activate the Hollowed Azamina, showing the Ilia Sylvia, sending the Deception to go ahead and summon my Omni Negate, set the Chimera Fusion, and pass turn. And then I threw a bunch of stuff in chat, which I will get to just so that I don't forget anything. I already mentioned the Angel, and now I have the Ilia Sylvia Omni Negate. And even more importantly than that is I can choose to sit on it unless my opponent forces interactions with like removal or something, because if I activate this on the same chain link, this is a quick effect, I can activate the Moa Regina to target up to 2 cards on the field and destroy them. And this is amazing wording because it says up to 2 for 1, and then additionally if I target 2, it says destroy them. So if I target a card of my opponent's, like 2 cards of my opponent's, and he's able to in response tribute one of them or fuse it away or do something with it to remove it off of the field, I'm still going to get to destroy the other card. The Chimera Fusion I have live, I'll talk about that in a sec, because as long as I control Chimera King of Phantom Beasts, I have the Mirror Sword Knight in grave, which, as I mentioned already, is a monster negate for a monster on the field by banishing itself. So once I use, if I'm getting max value, and I've used the Mirror Sword Knight, the Ilia Sylvia into the Moa Regina, all of those effects have been used, I then have the Chimera Fusion to summon the Chimera the Illusion Beast. Or if I just need to dodge removal, I can shotgun it. And then, as I mentioned before, once I use the Chimera Fusion using him and either of these two, if I've already used the Omni Negate, it has to be the Moa Regina to make the Illusion Beast. He's now in grave, and like I mentioned, I can use him to summon back any of my illusion beasts or fiends. So I can use it to summon the Diabellstar Vengeance, which is still a quick effect pop. I don't get to cheat out the Tuner Synchro monster, but it is still a quick effect pop of any card my opponent controls. I can summon back the Nightmare Apprentice, who is indestructible, by battle, and also on summon will add me an illusion monster, so I can add the LZ again to have good follow-up either for more fusion plays or just to use her effect to special summon the White Witch without having to pitch for cost. But that's not going to be an issue on my follow-up because I have both the Hollowed Azamina that I can target the Marussia Lago, or if I've used the Omni Negate on the Ilia Sylvia to shuffle that back to add Hollowed Azamina back, and I also can add the Chimera Fusion back because that's just a once per turn effect while I have Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast on field or in grave. Super cool. And then as I'm mentioning, if I use this effect, I think I said it before already, I then have this live to bring back him again, or if I want to bring back the Mirror Sword Knight, I can, because both of those will be banished. I don't know if there was anything else that I forgot to mention. Nope, that was it. So it's just so many different layered interactions. Only one Omni Negate, but it allowed me to continue playing, even if my opponent forced out a bunch of interactions, which realistically he didn't, because he also mulliganed, and I was very lucky he did not high roll, because I knew with his deck he had the Ishizu cards, he was playing full power Tearlament, and he also got the Herald pick, which means that he had the hand trap negates, which didn't even require each other. He could just have the monster spell or trap negate, orange, green, or purple light respectively, pitching an Ishizu card, like a Miller card, which would then allow him to start playing turn 0. So I definitely got fortunate in that regard, but I was able to easily interact with his stuff without even using all of my interaction pieces. And then I just have so many different options for follow-up depending on what my top deck is. Like it could be a Lubellion, and then I pitch Lubellion to add Serenir or Druid Swarm, and then I banish one of the many things that are in either of our graveyards because he was playing Tearlament. Or if I have to banish my own stuff, that's still fine because I can get it back if I haven't used the Baphomet yet. So I can get it back on my opponent's turn. So arguably worth banishing something actually good. And then set up the Branded Regained with the Lubellion, because the Branded Beast, least important part of the combo, it's only really good going first if I get into the Serenir through Lubellion. Like if I start Lubellion, add Serenir, and I'm able to banish something of my own, or if he hand traps me with, like, I don't know, Skullmeister or Effect Veiler or something. But I'd already pitched it away, it's not important. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else much to say about it. I was just really happy with the line I was able to cook with this starting hand that was admittedly abysmal compared to the rest of the hands I was opening that night. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.